became Matteo Camarda, and we are back on the Dark Vanities, and I'm here to tell you that I finally ordered the TTArtisan 27mm AF F2.8 to pair with my Sony ZVE10. It's finally coming on the way. I bought it on AliExpress, 120 euros, and it has been a great bargain. I appreciated the possibility to buy it, and I will pair it with my Sony ZVE10 that I'm using now to make this video. Okay, so I'm glad that I had this possibility. At the same time, I'm glad that I could buy and afford that lens for that price now before Black Friday. At the same time, I just briefly want to explain you why I have chosen that lens instead of others. So I have the Sony 16-50 that I'm using right now with a soft mist filter by Walking Way, the strong one, the version 2 applied on. And then I have the Pergear 10mm f8. At home I have a newer CPL 40.5mm filter that I pair with this lens 16-50 or with my Sony ZVE10. Then I have the variable ND by K&F Concept, and also I have the 129 stops ND2 ND400, and then I have also the Photosy 35mm f1.6 that I use on my camera every time I want to have bokeh, I want to have characters, swirly bokeh on bubbles and vintage vibes. So I pair it with Walking Way slim soft filter, soft, so the version 1. It's less strong than the strong one, obviously. It's like a white mist, it's not black mist, because I used a black diffusion newer filter on my 16-50, but then I chose to go in another direction, having a soft mist filter, which is another thing, like a white mist. Okay, so I would like to have the same filter that I'm using right now, so the strong one, also for the TTArtisan 27mm f2.8, and I want to use that lens to have a vlogging setup for the product showcase. I want to test that feature on the Sony ZVE10, and also I want to use it for this kind of tight view, to have more bokeh, but to keep the autofocus for street photography, for candid photography, for being discreet, in the streets or everywhere, because the lens is a pancake. It's smaller even of the kit, smaller than the kit lens, because it's even when it's collapsed, when it's retracted. But also the TTArtisan 27mm AF f2.8 has some character, not as the Photosy 35mm f1.6, but at the same time it provides something less neutral than this one that I'm using right now, the kit lens of the Sony ZVE10. What else? It doesn't have the IBIS, and I never use the active steady shot, so I have to use a Ulanzi MT73 mini tripod. Extended. What else? Nothing else. I use now I'm using the ACM W2BT, the wireless setup. Here you can see it here on my jacket, and you can see the transmitter, while the receiver is on the camera, connected through the digital hot shoe. Okay, and that's my setup for the Sony ZVE10. I refuse to buy the 15 to 210mm tele, that big lens, because I want to keep this setup really pocketable, and I want to use it everywhere. So bringing it in my jeans pocket or in my jacket, or in a very small bag. So in my opinion, it's less important to have that kind of big lens in my setup, and I don't need it, because I want to use this camera as a front camera, so it has always to face me with the flip out screen out. so that I can vlog and I can use it in the streets and everywhere, so people should agree with me without without using it in another inappropriate way, because I use it for cinematic purposes, but at the same time I don't want to use it for other purposes other than vlog or street photography or something discreet. In other words, my Sony ZVE10 is not something destined for short movies. For that I have the X-T30 Mark II with other lenses, and I already have spoken about these lenses and this setup in other videos. So the last thing that I would need for my Sony ZVE10 is the Crane N2, which is a gimbal. Probably I will buy it next year, but until then I will use the Ulanzi MT73 mini tripod. Okay guys, let's get in the next video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. I'm K. Matteo Camarda on Dark Vanities. Goodbye my friends.